Join us as Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. Before we begin, we're going to take a few moments to collect ourselves and to relax before we engage into our discussion. What we need to do is to focus now on bringing positive energy into our lives and into the world. The energy that we project every day is the same energy that we get back. We have all seen those people that can walk into a room and they glow. People want to be around them. People feel better being in their presence. That's the energy that we need to create. And once we learn how to do this, our lives will be filled with greatness. We will attract that positive energy. And how we can do this is by changing our outlook, meeting every day with gratitude, thankfulness, optimism, and once you do this, you will see a change in yourself. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Think about everything positive in your life: family, friends, a career, your faith. All of this is how you start your day. Every morning when you wake up, I want you to think about what is positive in your life. I want you to list 10 reasons why your life is amazing. You will see the change. You will be changed. You will begin to attract life's blessings. Lead with gratitude. Be thankful and think positive. The Women of Courage show is being broadcast by the Women and Children's Restoration Ministries to help you problem solve, to help you dream again, to help you believe that anything is possible. We want you to believe that you do not have to marry the first man you meet just to get someone to take care of you. You do not have to live a life of drudgery. You can educate yourself. All you have to do is learn to read competently. We want you to take a chance on yourself. Stop believing all the soothsayers around you that have never left a state in their lives. People who do not have courage to fly. People who only think of lying, cheating, and stealing. You can live an exciting life. All you have to do is believe that you can make your dreams come true. You do not have to go to bed with someone you despise day in and day out. You have the right to marry someone that you can talk to someone that believes in you and has faith in you as a human being. In other words, you do not have to settle for just anyone. But what you must do is strive toward your goal. You must be goal oriented. You must organize yourself. You must be clear about what you want in life and why you want such a life. All of us are made up of dreams. As our dreams unfold in our lives, our spirit soars. Realizing our dreams becomes a problem because oftentimes we are beaten down by our friends and family. We are beaten down at school by people laughing at us because of our shoe size, our ear size, our breast size, the clothes we wear, etc. We are beaten down by people saying nothing will come of our lives. We are beaten down when our mothers and grandmothers constantly say that we're going to be just like our father, an inmate in prison. Many of us are also discouraged when our mothers are inattentive. She is wrapped up in her new boyfriend. But life anew is possible. It is my job to encourage you to go as far as you can dream and as far as your dreams can take you. It is my job to get you to believe in life again. I am sick and tired of people failing at life just because they are around negative speaking and negative acting people. Do not let the failure of other people make you lose confidence in yourself. Yes, you may be surrounded by poverty, but you must look for a way out. The book, If You Believe in God, You Do Not Belong in Prison, will help you. What you must do above all else is learn to read competently. You must read, read, and read. Anyone who laughs at you for reading, you need to leave that person alone. I do not care if it's your mother. Anyone who discourages you, you are to stop all association. Man is not different than plants. We need encouragement to grow as plants need water to thrive. You are to leave foolish, stupid people alone. Their ignorance will weigh you down or even get you killed. Sit down and think how you can avoid these people, especially if they're in your family. If you are overwhelmed with the tiring feeling that feels as if you're carrying a bag of stone around every morning when you get out of bed and think how you'll have to spend another living life you're not passionate about, the books I suggest are the perfect solution for your unique needs. Not only will we help you realize why these feelings overwhelm you and what you can do to change it, but they will also teach you how to live a life of strength, courage, fearlessness in order to realize all of your dreams. If you are lacking the attitude and psychology, proper resource or vision to make your dreams a reality, combined with dissatisfaction with the execution of your plans, but you remain firmly dedicated to making your ambition a reality and creating the life you deserve, you will certainly derive the most benefit from professional, incredible content within these books. Contents that will assist you in achieving the results that you are after. You are never to give up on yourself. Are you ready to leave your future to chance? Of course not. Take your life in your hand and learn all the necessary tools, mindset, strategies used by the men and women of courage, used in order to live the life of their dream. Change your life with our book starting today. I ended the last show discussing the risk factors involved in sex trafficking. I'm going to continue ending all of our broadcasts with the risk factors because it is extremely important that every parent discuss this information with their children and also work in building self-esteem in their children. Sex traffickers look for individuals who lack confidence and people who will try to please others. These are the characteristics parents must try to discourage in their children. Now to the Women's Day. As you know, we will be broadcasting that day. We're the United States women of this country celebrate Women's Day all month long. Consequently, celebrating this occasion, we're going to discuss women all during the month of March. We're going to talk about books and situations that will lift the spirit, that will lead to personal growth and self-development. Books that will help you turn your life around. We're going to discuss books that are blueprints to success. We're going to be talking about the person who gets up in the morning telling himself or herself that it's going to rain, it's going to be a horrible day. These books are about reconditioning the way that you think. If you never question the way that you think, you will never improve. Your life will never get better. You'll spend your entire life sitting down trying to think of how you can trick people out of their money. Now back to the main discussion. We're going to ask why forecast gloom and doom into your life. Why close off your life by negative thinking? We are going to discuss ways for you to stop this kind of behavior. You do this by realizing you are in control of the way you see yourself. You are in control of your thoughts. The most important conversation a person has each day is a conversation he you're going to talk to yourself, why not encourage yourself rather than discourage yourself? You do not know what is going to happen to you. You are not a fortune teller. You do not have mystical powers. So why forecast destruction coming into your life? If you want to be a forecaster, then forecast good fortune and good times. If you're going to be a soothsayer, then soothsay something good occurring to you or a member of your family. The likelihood of something good happening to you is equally as possible as something bad happening to you. When you flip a coin, all you done do is get heads or tails, unless the coin lands on its side. So why not look on the bright side of the day and leave misfortune to someone else? We're going to discuss that it is positive thinking that will change your life for the better. Planning will change your life. You have to realize what benefit you can provide from always telling yourself failure is right around the corner. How does it benefit you by telling yourself that you cannot return to school so you can apply for a better job? How does it benefit you by telling yourself that you will never get married and no woman will want you? The books, You Are the Prophet of Your Life, Women of Courage, and A Christian is Never Desperate, tells you negative thinking benefits no one. If you want a better life for yourself and your children, I think you need more books that encourage and change you. People talk all day long about what they want to do. I'm a gunner. They're not a gunner do anything. They keep talking year after year after year after year. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to get a better job. I'm gonna. But they never do it. You need to stand up in the mirror and look at yourself and make up your mind what you're going to do and then do it. These books are going to be especially helpful if you're living off of the world's two major food groups, which are caffeine and nicotine. You need to read these books to turn your life around. You Are the Prophet of Your Life, A Christian is Never Desperate, and Women of Courage are books about living life. These books describe what happens to a person who chooses to live his or her life on their own terms. What happens to people who choose not to follow, to be led by someone else who is selfish and self-centered. It is time for you to wake up and pay attention to what you have been taught. It may not be correct for you. These books are about living life. The books are not flavored with sugar and spice. They are about reality. They describe the pain that occurs when a woman steps outside of her home to go to work. The books describe the pain that occurs to a person when their parents do not prepare them for life. Stop living the same day over and over and over again. Maybe then you'll stop looking for a thrill in white powder or a thrill in alcohol. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now for my break. Dear listeners, help us save a life. Stop breast cancer from taking lives. Will you assist us in putting the booklet Black Women and Breast Cancer in the hands of a million people? Please go to the website www.touchedbythelight.us and download the booklet Black Women and Breast Cancer. Then email this booklet to 5 friends, asking them to email the booklet to 5 of their friends. We are trying to reach a million women with this information to save lives. The death of one woman to breast cancer from our community is one woman too many. We thank you for your support.
Oftentimes, fear is defined as fantasized experiences appearing real. We all fear something. It could be doing what's never been done, or being scared for no just cause. These fears hold us down and create a fantasized, albeit unreal, experience. If you must move ahead in life, you must stand up to your fear. If you must be successful, you must pull through the unreal experiences that fear is created in you. And trust me, you need a good dose of courage to do exactly that. With courage, there's no stopping you. How can you summon the courage to face your fears? As a woman, you're amazing and you have great capabilities. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. How then can you maximize these great capabilities? As you'll find out in the series Women of Courage, the women we wrote about succeeded against all odds simply by standing up for themselves. Just like them, you can make your life count too.
You can find the series Women of Courage at www.touchedbythelight.us.
Every year, thousands of books are written on how to achieve our dreams, how to live a happier life, or make a lot of money. Yet, the number of people living unhappy lives keeps going up. People living a life of uncertainty, a life of despair. What could be the problem? Were the books lying about these promises, or were people not practicing what they read? You see, the truth is that most times we know exactly what we want out of life, and we often know how to get there. So, what is the missing link? It's the courage to take that first step, to go from where we are right now to the life of freedom and fulfillment we so much desire. We must first leave our comfort zone, and it takes courage to make that move. And that is exactly where all those books failed. They tell you what you should do, but can't get you to take that first step. A wise man once said, "Without courage, you can't leave your comfort zone. If you don't leave your comfort zone, you can't grow. If you can't grow, you can't be your best. And if you can't be your best, you can't be happy."
You can find the series Women of Courage at www.touchedbythelight.us.
If you have reached a point where you are stuck, having a sense of tiredness, coming from seeing all of your dreams and visions of success get obscured with the lack of experience, guidance, and knowledge necessary for success, learning from Women of Courage may be the most important thing you've read this year. Living a passionate life in a hectic and busy 21st century is getting increasingly harder. Women of Courage series will provide you with all the inspiration, courage, and role model you need to get inspired and take your life in your hands and start living as bravely, as passionate as you deserve.
You can find the series Women of Courage at www.touchedbythelight.us.
Why are only a few women in history books? Why are women left out of leadership positions? Why are 21st century women struggling with the same issues that 20th century women fought against? The series Women of Courage gives answers to these questions. Millions of women all over the world are living in fear, unhappy, and unfulfilled, wishing they could do more with their lives. If you are one of these women, fearful and unhappy, take the bold step and purchase the series Women of Courage. Read and learn how other women met these challenges and succeed in living fulfilling lives. Read the series Women of Courage and learn how you can change your life forever. Women of Courage is an inspirational book that seeks to tell the stories of strong women who have persevered, even when those threatened by a woman's strength have stood in the way. It's a book for all women, a book to help more of us stand up and say, "It's about time." It's a book for you. Get your copy from touchedbythelight.us.
We live in a society that has created an impression that a woman is limited in what she can do. The society lets you see yourself as a weaker human who should not aspire to greater things. Most of us grew up with that mentality and thus turned out to be unambitious. Good news is there are a lot of women out there, just like you, who have turned their lives around dramatically. Women like Mother Teresa, Lucy Burns, and Rosa Parks. There's one underlying factor common to all these women: courage. They were courageous in the face of societal intimidation. They were courageous enough to move against societal norms that were unacceptable to them. They were courageous when it mattered, most thus writing their standards in the sands of time. Purchase the Women of Courage series today at http://touchedbythelight.us or mail a check to P.O. Box 7267, Ann Arbor, Michigan 48107.
A lot of us have found ourselves in threatening scenarios: a cheating husband, an unwanted pregnancy, extreme poverty, and many others. We were faced with making decisions which could either make or mar us. While some of us were able to scale through, others were not that lucky. Well, it is not that the women couldn't make it through, were foolish, or less deserving. Most of the time, they were just unlucky to be victims of the weak belief system of the society we find ourselves. As women, we can't and shouldn't allow this barbarity to continue. We are the ones being victimized, and only we can liberate ourselves. The book, The Prophet You Are the Prophet of Your Life, was written to help women across the world understand this and to stand together to confront the monsters in our lives for the sake of the future of our children. The book takes into cognizance the millions of people in the world who have lost their lives solely because they were women, poor, and were unable to control their environment. The author, like every other American woman, feels enough is enough. Some of the key messages discussed in the book include being consistent in what you say and believe. One of the biggest problems most people encounter in being consistent. A lot of people fail when our thoughts and beliefs are put to the test. It should never be so. Being inconsistent in one's belief translates to sowing seed of doubt and unbelief. And like the famous saying, whatever you sow, you reap. As much as you can, endeavor to be consistent in what you say to yourself. Not only this, you must ensure that your speeches exclude faith, happiness, and wellness. Many of you may not realize this, but being pessimistic is dangerous. Why get up in the morning telling yourself you're going to have a horrible day? Why tell yourself you are meant for the doom and not for the fortune? No matter how bad your yesterday was, it should never stop you from being optimistic. Being pessimistic sets you up for a miserable life. It prevents you from seeing the positive sides in your life. You must realize that you are in control of what you think. More importantly, you must always remember it is positive thinking that will make you the better person. I want you to read You Are the Prophet of Your Life because you'll find out the importance of reading scripture. You do not need to believe in God to read scriptures. Reading the scriptures can help liberate you from negative thinking. God's words exuberate hope and positivity. They do not foreshadow doom and gloom. God tells man that he can look forward to a great life by living righteously and not violating the rights of others. Nothing can be as powerful as this. Also, I want you to read the book because it lets you know that you need to investigate your emotions. Taking authority over your life involves you investigating your emotions. A lot of us fail in this regard. Investigating our emotions requires self-examination, which is usually painful. Apart from this, most of us are scared of making a mistake. Thus, we tend to prefer to oscillate back and forth between two kingdoms than taking tough decisions. Irrespective of how difficult investigating your emotions can be, you must never shy away from it. When you do not investigate your emotions, you are inviting others to take control of your life. I want you to take the time and go online and read the article, How Donald Trump Brought About the End of My Marriage. I want you to listen to the words of this woman. She was married for 20 years and she finally left her husband. Please read this article. Then you'll understand why I say you should read You Are the Prophet of Your Life. Again, the article title is How Trump Brought About the End of My Marriage. It is by Jen Merrill, Jen, capital Merrill. It was published Sunday, January the 27th, 2017. If you can't find the article, email me at murderedvoices@gmail.com and I'll send you the link to the article. You Are the Prophet of Your Life is a must-read book for anyone who wants to break from society's belief and system of bondage. Here is the introduction to You Are the Prophet of Your Life. It says, open your mouth and speak your world into existence. You can have what you say, but you must be consistent in what you say and in what you believe. When you oscillate back and forth, you are being consistently inconsistent. That is right. You are inconsistent in your beliefs, and you are consistently sowing seeds of doubt and unbelief, and that is what you will harvest. You will harvest doubt and unbelief. Whatever you put in the ground of your heart will grow. Whatever you put in your mind will grow. If you frequently put doubt and unbelief in your heart and mind, then that is what will be harvested. Doubt and unbelief. You can have what you say, but what you say must be consistent in everything that you say or tell yourself. You must consistently speak faith, happiness, and wellness into your existence. The words you constantly say to yourself are important. If you continually say or speak the problem, that is all you will harvest is the problem. Whatever you consistently say, you will believe. If you are constantly telling yourself that you are no good, that you cannot learn anything, that no one wants you, then that is what you believe, and that will be the result of your life. You will not be able to learn, and no one will want you. You keep talking yourself into trouble. You must begin paying attention to the conversations that you are constantly having with yourself and with others. Regurgitating the same phrases over and over again in your life causes you to live the same old life. Why get up in the morning telling yourself it's going to rain? It will be one horrible day. Why forecast gloom and doom into your life? You woke up. Why not be glad that you woke up? How do you know it's going to be a horrible day? What special talents do you have to forecast the future? You are setting yourself up to be miserable just because it's raining outside. You are letting a natural occurrence control your behavior and thought life. You can be offered a job on a rainy day. You can meet an old friend on a rainy day. You can have a wonderful lunch sitting by the seashore on a rainy day. Why close off your life by negative thinking? Negative thinking comes from a fearful heart. You fear that you cannot control your circumstances. You can stop this type of behavior by realizing you are in control of what you think, and it is positive thinking that will change your life for the better. In the introduction, the author goes on and says, what you need to do is purchase a concordance. Find a scripture that will fit your needs. Repeat the scripture to yourself. Receive the scripture and rehearse the scripture to firmly root God's word into your heart. Soon the word will come from your heart out of your mouth as a creative force, and what you believe will change. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. This is a way of taking control of your life. God's words does not forecast gloom and doom. God tells man that there is hope. God tells man that man can look forward to being or having a great life by living righteously and not violating his fellow man. To change your heart so that what you speak is in line with God, go to the Word and speak the Word. The world will send you downhill. The world will depress you and make you believe that your situation is hopeless. Despite all of the depressing things you are told every day, you must plant the Word in your heart and prophesy health and wealth to yourself. Soon what you say will become what you believe, and you will see the results of your belief in your life. What benefit do you derive from always telling yourself failure is right around the corner? How does it benefit you by telling yourself you cannot return to school so that you can apply for a better job? How does it benefit you by telling yourself that you can never get married, that no woman or no man will want to be your husband or wife? Negativity benefits no one. Wars are not won by negativity. Doubt and unbelief sneaks into our thoughts because of lack of faith and our association with negative talking people. Sooner or later, you must ask yourself, what do I believe? If you believe there is a God and this God says that he will protect you no matter what, then you must become firm in this conviction and turn your head away from doubt and unbelief. You must walk with confidence. When the doctor says that you are seriously ill, you must say to yourself, what does the Word say about this situation? What does God tell me about his capability? What did God promise me? You can answer these questions by researching the Bible. Many of his promises are repeated throughout the Bible. Could it be that you doubt God because you have been disobedient? Could it be that you doubt God because you have not built up your faith by spending time with God's Word? Doubt and unbelief rest upon negative thinking. Stop postulating disaster into your life. You can miss your blessing because of your negative behavior. Positive acting people will stop coming around you because of your attitude. You must constantly ask yourself each day, how am I benefiting myself by foreshadowing a terrible result? You must rest in the Word. You must have confidence in the Word. And you must be reconciled that God will supply all your needs. Resting in the Word will bring you peace. Resting in the Word will rid your body of anxious feelings that you have early in the morning. You must remember, just because the devil shows up does not mean that God will wait in the rafters. Just because a situation appears hopeless to you because of your limitations does not mean that that situation cannot be solved by God. Hebrews chapter 4 talks about the rest of man. This rest is given to man because of his faith. Take time out of your busy schedule and read this chapter. Read Hebrews chapter 4 several times. Let the concept of resting during your life lead you to believe that you can have what you say and that you are the prophet of your life.
Are you sick and tired of being you? Do you want another life, a second chance? Then it's time to change. It's time for you to find out who you are. It's time for you to stand up for yourself. It's time for you to think for yourself. It's time to rid your mind of poisonous beliefs like women should only be seen and not heard. It's time for you to learn how other women accomplished their goals. For more information regarding women of courage and to be among the countless women learning to manage the challenges, limitations, and rejections of life, go to https://touchedbythelight.us.
We live live in a society that has created an impression that a woman is limited in what she can do. The society lets you see yourself as a weaker human who should not aspire to greater things. Most of us grew up with that mentality and thus turned out to be unambitious. Good news is there are lots of women out there just like you who have turned their lives around dramatically. There's one underlying factor common to all these women: courage. They were courageous in the face of societal intimidation. They were courageous enough to move against societal norms that were unacceptable to them. They were courageous when it mattered most, thus writing their names in the sands of time. Reading the series Women of Courage is a good place to learn about the significant role courage plays in achieving great things in life.
You can find the series Women of Courage at www.touchedbythelight.us.
Why you should read Women of Courage. The book will inspire you to begin your life again. Read how females took courage to live exemplary lives, even though most were from humble backgrounds. The books teach the importance of courage in achieving the great things of life. The books motivate you to look beyond those things you think you couldn't do. The books give you the insight into your innate abilities that your fears have suppressed. There is no greater feeling than creating a new you.
You can find the series Women of Courage at www.touchedbythelight.us. Are you going through hard times and feel the world is crashing in on you? Do you feel that there is nothing to life anymore? Probably you are even contemplating condemning yourself. You don't need to suffer in silence. If there is anything in your life that you don't like, you can change it. You do not have to cope with that situation anymore. What you need is a touch of light through the right knowledge that will make you become a prophet of your own life. It is only in your darkest hour that you may discover the true strength of the brilliant light which is within yourself that can never be dimmed. You Are the Prophet of Your Life is an exceptional book that will expand your understanding of yourself, of violence, and offers measures to prevent violence against women, children, and the community. It will help you make informed and timely decisions that can help save lives, enrich your soul, enlighten your mind, and make you understand that capacity inside yourself to change things. If you desire to nourish your mind, to grow, and to go to greater heights, then choose to read the book You Are the Prophet of Your Life. Knowledge is your best weapon against evil, problem solving, and self loathing. Just to give you some insight into what the book has to offer, I'm going to read a portion of the first chapter to you of the book You Are the Prophet of Your Life. Remember, enlightenment comes through reading. Problem solving is greatly enhanced through reading, and you gain power and resolve from reading. I am going to read a portion of the first chapter of the book You Are the Prophet of Your Life. I want you to listen closely to what I read. It is important that you believe in yourself. Your success in life or your failure in life depends upon your belief in yourself. Your success in life also depends on what you believe is right and what you believe is wrong. Who will you fight, how long you fight, and the tools you use to fight will all depend upon your believing in yourself and your moral beliefs. If we take a closer look at what you believe or do not believe, we will see your beliefs also affect the lives of your wife, your children, or your husband. So you see, your belief system encompasses your entire existence. Your belief system is so important that you should always be concerned with what thoughts are being fed to you by people who are around you and what information you receive through news sources. You cannot take a cavalier attitude toward your associates or toward the person who reports the news. People have committed suicide because they believe the hopelessness reported by the reporter on television. The stock market is going to crash. There are no jobs. You're going to lose your home. There will be a food line throughout the country. All the computers in the country are going to crash. There is nothing man can do. The pestilence is up on us. Disasters are inevitable. Run, death is upon us. This type of soothsaying is dangerous. It is debilitating and it causes people to become sick at heart. Defeat settles in, and death of the spirit or death of the body soon follow. If you remain around people who speak hatred and negativity, soon violence settles in and destruction follows. There have been men who have committed murder because they believed their act would be accepted by the people around them. The murder of James Chaney, a 20-year-old black man from Meridian, Mississippi; Andrew Goodman, age 20, white Jewish anthropology student from New York; and Michael Schwerner, a 24-year-old white Jewish war organizer and former social worker, also from New York. The men who committed murder in Mississippi gambled with eternal damnation, thinking they had the approval of their community. These men committed a vile act because they refused to change their friends or their thinking. Vile acts have been committed all over this country now because of people and their thinking. Many of these men are in prison for the rest of their lives because of their belief system. Did not their belief system affect their lives and the lives of their wives and children? What child do you know would want to visit his or her parent in prison? Child wants to see his parent at home, on the playground, or in a mall, not in a prison where they cannot touch one another or truly have a human experience together. What child do you know wants to try and explain to his or her friends that their father or mother is a murderer? Imagine explaining to your friends how your father beheaded a man, Garrett P. Johnson Jr., an ex-Marine, and burned him alive because of his race. Imagine being the judge who heard the case, the prosecutor who did not seek the death penalty, or the all-white jury who had to decide the guilt of the case. No child wants to say that his or her father is a murderer or that his or her mother is a liar. The child wants to say, my father is a police officer. My father is a fireman. My father is a mailman. My father is a man who works and takes care of his family. My father is a man of character and integrity, and I'm proud of him. No child wants to say, my father is a murderer. Imagine the feelings of all of the children in this country whose fathers were executed for the act of rape and murder. A man was executed in 2009 for murdering his estranged wife and his two stepdaughters. He left behind his two adult children who will be forever affected by the decision he made when he committed murder. 2 years earlier, on February 8, 2007, James Lewis Jackson, age 47, of Texas, was executed for murdering his wife, Sharon Jackson, age 39, and his two stepdaughters, Aretha Mays, 18, and Cecilia Mays, 19, in April 1997. Sharon Jackson had asked for a divorce because James Jackson was a crack addict. Mr. Jackson believed at the time it was okay to smoke crack. There was nothing wrong with his behavior, although the society around him had labeled his behavior of purchasing and smoking crack as a criminal act. James Jackson's behavior left several families shattered, all because of his thought life. When Mickey James Davison was executed October 19, 1995, in the Greenville Correction Center in Virginia for the June 13, 1990 murder of his wife, Doris James Davison, and his two stepdaughters, Mamie Darnell Clatterbuck, age 14, and Tammy Lynn Clatterbuck, age 13, he said, I'll say my last words to the Lord. I guess that's all I really have to say. He told relatives that he murdered his wife and stepdaughters because his wife said she was going to return to her former husband. Look at how many lives he destroyed by his thinking and decisions. There was no question that Mr. Davison believed in God. The volunteer prison minister Bobby B. West said he made his peace with God and God has forgiven him. He's sorry for the crime since the day it was committed. Mr. Davison believed in God, but his behavior showed that he did not allow God's teaching to control his behavior. He knew it was wrong to kill, but he allowed his emotions of low self-esteem, shame, anger, jealousy, and hurt to control him, causing him to commit murder. He exhibited no self-control, as did Mr. Jackson of Mississippi and the man executed in 2009. What do you think and how you think does affect the outcome of your life? How many men sit in bars telling one another, I'll kill my wife if she cheats on me? In 1995, Virginia had put more people to death than any state but Florida and Texas. There is a man in Missouri on death row who committed his first murder at the age of 27, all because of what he believed. To date, he has confessed to 20 murders, 6 aggravated assaults, 16 bank robberies, and 2 bombings. This man will never get out of prison. In another 20 or 30 years, he will die, and his daughter will have to spend almost her entire life without her father, all because of what he believed. Did not this child deserve to have a father in the home whom she could turn to when she needed him, rather than visiting him in prison, if she indeed visited him? What you believe can make you a fool, or what you believe can make you a genius. You should be concerned about where on the spectrum you fall. Your thoughts and conclusions are developed from information that you receive from outside sources and digest as truth and fact, or from information that you reject as false. It behooves you to question what you believe, because this is the basis for your advancement through life or your decline in life. To end up in prison because of your beliefs is extreme. Ending up in the gutter because of your beliefs is also extreme, yet quite possible. Can you not see the danger involved in allowing your mind to be exposed to a type of conversation that will lead you to hatred and murder, envy and jealousy? As long as you sit at the lunch table or stand in the backyard talking about people, jealousy and envy will be the results of your conversations. You talk about your neighbor's new car. You talk about your neighbor's new couch. Pretty soon, you will decide you want a new car like your neighbor, or you want a new couch like your neighbor. So you will begin to connive and arrange situations that you can talk to your neighbor's husband. Maybe you meet him for a drink. Find you are in bed with him because your true objective is a new car or a new couch. As time progresses, your desires may change and you will attempt to replace his wife. After all, you think you're better than his wife. You convince yourself that his wife is the problem. You justify your behavior by saying that you are the better woman. Not once do you see yourself for what you are, a mean-spirited, envious, and jealous woman who is willing to do anything to destroy the object of her jealousy and hatred, which is his wife. You refuse to believe that what you want to be is exactly like her. You formulate this hatred plan because you were angry that no man has been willing to provide you with a new car or a new couch. You decide to get what you want through deceit and subterfuge. You refuse to believe that the reason why the man provides for his wife is because she has served him as a wife. She has made him feel necessary in her life. She is his sinner. Since you are deceitful, you lie to the world and to yourself. You continue with your plan, never realizing that the first murder ever committed in the world was committed because of jealousy. I am going to again repeat the risk factors involved in the abduction or procurement of sex trafficking victims. Understand, these factors are important for parents to understand and to share with their children. Regardless of how vulgar it sounds, sex traffickers are always looking for children. This section is for parents. Pay attention to your child and trust no one. Pay attention to how your neighbors and friends and relatives react around your child. Remember, in order to be effective, the trafficker must get in proximity of your child to recruit. Remember, the motive behind sex trafficking is money. Anyone who is in need or desperate for money can look at sex trafficking as a solution to their problem. And who will be the first target? The children around them. Remember, the front line is the parent. You must educate yourself. Learn the signs of sex trafficking, learn the risk factors, and prepare your child for telling you when they do not feel right around a person. You must tell your child about some of the people who are not necessarily nice. Also, you need to help your child build self-esteem. Next is extremely important. For a person to be at risk for brainwashing, it is necessary that at least one of the following characteristics be met. Again, for a person to be at risk for brainwashing, it is necessary that for at least one of the following characteristics to be present. Person have low self-esteem, have been physically or sexually abused, struggle with drugs or alcohol, having family environmental issues, low social economic status, in other words, living in poverty, or have little social or legal protection. I repeat, the person have low self-esteem, or has been physically or sexually abused, or struggle with drugs and alcohol, or have family issues, or lives in poverty, or has little or no legal protection. You must pay attention to these risk factors as they relate to your child. Do not fool yourself and say my child has high self-esteem. Check it out and make certain. Now for a closer discussion. Have low self-esteem. People with low self-esteem do not feel valuable or worthy to receive love and constantly seek the approval of others, including strangers, and they do not feel able to reject other people without feeling bad about it. Traffickers are masters at manipulating and exploiting at-risk youth. These traffickers groom their victims, gaining their trust and loyalty by preying upon their vulnerabilities and showering them with praise and gifts. Tell your daughters that if they are in the presence of a man who is always praising them and giving them gifts, they need to stop and take a closer look at this male. Talk to your children about grooming. Discuss self-esteem with your child. Ask your child how they feel about neighbors, family, and friends. What you want is for your child to alert you to any changes in behavior of these people. Take nothing for granted and stop trying to tell your children what to think. What you need to do is help them learn how to think. Remember, a child is not a miniature you. They are their own person and they are entitled to their own thoughts. Victims that have physical or sexual abuse or after an emotional or violent trauma. Any person, especially a child or a teen, is in an unstable psychological status that can be exploited by traffickers. Uncles are good for sexually abusing nieces and nephews. Person who struggles with drugs and or alcohol. Any person or teenager dependent on drugs or alcohol is physically and psychologically unstable and therefore vulnerable. Person who has family issue or is seeking family environment. This is especially important of cases where children or teenagers who have never had a home or live in a home with constant conflict and where they are treated with neglect. This could lead them to have poor academic successes and inadequate social skills, and often they become runaways. Desire to have a father and mother who does pay attention to them and show them affection put them at maximum risk. In a child seeking attention for a father or mother are at maximum risk. Pay attention to your child. The victim is a child living in poverty. One of the factors that traffickers always use in their favor is the monetary need of the victims. Children, adolescent, and adult women tend to succumb to the pimp's promise to provide economic stability, but the truth is that the victim of sex trafficking has no control over the profits of their work. For the person that has little or so, the Women of Courage show broadcast every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. Please remember, if you are not in your car or near a radio during our broadcast, we can be seen and heard on your computer if you go to TV33WHPR.com. Again, TV33WHPR.com. We can also be heard on your phone if you download the free app WHPR TV Detroit Live, or listen to us on Roku at WHPR TV Detroit Live 88.1 FM. If you missed one of our broadcasts, you can view our archive on YouTube at the Touched by the Light Publishing channel. Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Please join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there is nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. You need to come out and join us and give a voice to our concerns. For more information on our subjects or our books, you can email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. We enjoy your listening to the Women of Courage show at WHPR every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. And we support your local hairstylist. Do not forget to go to touchedbythelight.us website and download a copy of the booklet, Black Women and Breast Cancer. This is very important information, and we would appreciate it if you email a copy of this booklet to 5 other women. We are trying to reach 1 million people with this booklet. Help us reach our goal. Your emailing this booklet to another woman can help save a life.